It's the waitingfornextyear.com podcast. I am your host, Dave Sterling. With me tonight, connecting via internet, is comedian and host of the C4 podcast, Chris Clem. How's it going?
What's up? Great to be back.
Still in the evil land of Chicago.
Oh, yeah, the evil empire. I'm right in the thick of it now.
So how much do you outwardly show your Cavs fandom? Now I know, like, regular season, fine, wear a jersey, wear a hat, whatever. Do you take any more precautions in the playoffs, or are you kind of, I mean, you're not a small guy, so I don't imagine you're going to get a lot of crap.
No, I'm not afraid to get the insults hurled my way. For example, I will tell you what I was wearing on Monday when I was out and about in Chicago. I had just jeans on. I didn't wear like Cavs pajama pants or anything ridiculous like that. But I had a Cavs t-shirt, and then I had a Cavs jersey over top of that, and then I had my Cavs jacket, and I also had a Cavs combo with Spider-Man hat.
I've seen the Spider-Man hat. I'm not quite sure I understand it, but I saw it. That's good then. So I like how you're double layer protection with the t-shirt that nobody but you know it's a Cavs shirt. But you're not hiding it enough from the outside world because you're also wearing 4 other Cavs items at the same time.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying everything I have that I possibly can. I wear as many layers as I can get away with, like all the way down to socks or underwear if I can.
Well, that's good. Now, I was at the game Monday night. I got some last-minute free tickets, and they were having a jersey sale. So I went ahead and took the plunge on a Mozgov jersey. I have decided that whenever I wear it, it will be worn backwards, Brew Garden style.
That is the only way you can wear it, is it not?
So from now on, I want to see if I can get a Brew Garden patch to put over the NBA logo, but
it looks like the Bowling Green logo or something. You could probably just find one of that, maybe. The BG, just stick that right there under your chin.
Hey, they had me at hello. So yeah, but I found it funny that I don't find it silly to wear a jersey. Now, and I will say that you got to have a t-shirt under it if you're a grown man. I see these guys wearing a jersey with no t-shirt under it. I don't agree with that at all.
I can't unless even if it's like 95 degrees outside. I would sweat way too much to put that on. I mean, it's cost too much money to buy a jersey. I don't want to ruin it on one hot day.
Right. So you think about, okay, our society has decided, all right, grown men can wear these costumes, but then I see hanging on the rack under it are the shorts.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know who buys those. Like, who are those for? And where do you wear them? Unless you go play, like, rec league basketball or something?
Like, you could get them and everybody... I mean, I had an intramural team where we all wore old Cavs jerseys from, like, the Periwinkle era, Periwinkle and Black era. And some guys had, like, Cavs shorts, but it's mostly something that kids get and they're into. And then they just have it held on and they can still fit into it. They'll wear it. But nobody went out and bought some. I mean, I have like 2 pairs of Cavs shorts, but I don't have the replica shorts because that's just weird.
Yeah, and I just wonder why one is, we've decided it's okay. And I'm fine with it both, but again, as I said, I can't.
I think it's because of the utility aspect of it. Basketball shorts don't have pockets, and nobody's really looking at your legs when you're sitting down and everything like that. Whereas a jersey, you can be wearing pants and sitting down, and everybody can still see your jersey, and it's like, oh, that's cool. But if you're wearing basketball shorts, then you have to have like a fanny pack or someplace to put your car keys, and it's just a whole bunch of other problems.
I saw one of my, we were at the game, we went to the little fan fest, and this isn't, to badmouth any particular group of people, but looking at, you always hear politicians and stuff say, like, well, if the ticket prices are too high, you're going to drive out the common fan. I think we need to raise the ticket prices a little bit.
Really?
There were some. There was
too much common rabble there for you.
It wasn't even
the king of Cuyahoga Falls.
I'm not trying. It's just there are some just people there that you're just going, what are you doing here? Like, I understand you like the Cavs and stuff. Like, the one guy, there was this kid who was like, he looked like he wasn't a kid. He was probably in his early 20s. He seemed like he was about 5'2", was wearing jean shorts down to his ankles that just accentuated his shortness. He had the super, like, kind of not really a beard, but not really shaved stubble look going on.
Yeah, the little
wearing,
I gotcha.
Wearing one of those Cavs jerseys that's never been worn in a game, but is still kind of a Cavs jersey for some reason.
Like the Marks specials?
It was like a white, I think it's like a fashion special.
Oh, gotcha. Like all white or something?
It was white with red letters and numerals.
Gotcha. Like
and kind of the old cursive.
The hats that are like different colors and stuff.
Right. Yeah. And then he had the hat on too, and this little weird kind of white trash mustache. And I'm just like, and he was there with a group of 3 people similarly attired, but those 3 were all in Chicago stuff of the same. So there was a Jordan jersey, and I don't know. I'm not trying to be an elitist here, but maybe we raise the bar a little bit.
I will agree with that, and this might sound like a tangent, but it's not, because I have a Cavs hat with Spider-Man on it, so it's technically Cavs related. But when Spider-Man had the Broadway musical Turn Off the Dark, I went there with my wife, and we were both nervous because we'd never been to a Broadway show. And I'm ignoring the fact that if anybody's listening to this that likes Broadway shows, they're probably screaming at me for making my first one Spider-Man. But the draw was Spider-Man, not Broadway. And we dressed up really nice. I looked at all these websites for guides and things like that. And then when we got there, there was more people wearing NASCAR jackets than there were in a shirt and tie.
And you just kind of feel like, I made the effort to put on pants tonight.
Exactly.
Not everybody else did.
Remember back in the day, I wasn't alive for that, neither were you, but people would dress up for baseball games.
Yeah, you got to wear your hat, like your dress hat, not your baseball cap. And well, the other thing is, it is so weird in the playoffs, because I know I just said we need eliminate all poor people from games for some reason, because I'm super evil now. But there were also the people that clearly just came from their office job who had put the free yellow all-in t-shirt over their blue dress shirt.
Those people are always sitting courtside.
Oh man, I'm just sounding like a curmudgeon tonight, but
that's okay. I have my own misanthropic thoughts quite a bit.
How do you feel about kids sitting courtside during the playoffs?
I think, if they're 7 and they come from a rich family, that's awesome. But I also think they can't appreciate it, and they don't appreciate it, and they're wasting their money.
Yeah, the one kid was messing around on his dad's phone the whole night. Like, he clearly wanted to leave in the second quarter. But there they are.
It's like,
no, son, you'll enjoy it.
You're going to remember this when you're older.
Well, in addition to that, we were in the upper deck. It was center court in the upper deck in the very last row.
Loudville.
Yeah, we were the presidents of Loudville. But next to us was, and maybe this guy could be listening because there's a cross section. There was a guy who had his 2 daughters with him. One appeared to be like 4, and the other one appeared to be like 1, maybe. And I thought that the queue had a policy that every person, regardless of age, needed a ticket.
Yeah.
But he comes up and keeps his one daughter on his lap, and because there were only 2 seats by us, and then had his other daughter sit next to him. And you could tell my friend Dan, who was with me, just said, he clearly, his wife's away on business or something, and then someone offered him the tickets, and he's like, no, I'll take them. Oh, well, don't you have to watch the kids? No, I'll take them. And then when his wife called, he was like, yeah, we're just home watching the game. Yeah, the girls are watching with me. No, I don't know what that noise is. We have the TV up really loud, like was trying to put this big ruse on, we think, but... So this guy left at halftime and took the girls, and they left their T-shirts and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, well, this guy's leaving because he has 2 small children, and now it's night. And so I gather up the T-shirts to take them. So he comes back, and I go, oh, he's back. I don't outwardly give him the T-shirts, but then he like passively aggressively sits there, and I'll admit, I stole the T-shirts 100%. He's like, oh, where are our T-shirts? I don't know where our T-shirts are. What happened? Someone must have stolen our T-shirts. And then he looks at me and goes, did you see anyone take these T-shirts? And I was like, yeah, I took them. I thought you guys weren't coming back. And then I handed them back. And then he just kind of gave me this look like I'd attempted to kidnap one of his 2 small children. I gave him the 2 things back, and I never did say, well, those probably aren't your T-shirts because you don't have 3 tickets.
Ooh.
And you have 3 people with you. But I didn't. It was a man with bigger issues.
A great burn. And I also like that you go from complaining about poor people to telling us about how you stole somebody's T-shirts.
I gave them back. I was collecting unclaimed T-shirts.
All these damn opportunists at this game.
Oh, there was totally that going on at the end too. The people scouring the seats for the little light up foam things that they were giving out.
Oh, that's how I've ended up with multiple Pittsburgh Pirates clocks. They were all left at a giveaway.
Everyone needs multiple Pittsburgh Pirates clocks. I do like how I'm all over the place tonight. Like I'm too wealthy to deal with these poor people, but also, hey, free stuff. I'm going to get extra free stuff.
Oh, nobody's turning down free stuff. I got tons of shirts at Cavs games that will never fit me or come close just because they were free.
Yep. Yeah, I gave away my shirt because, yeah, it's never fitting me. At least not for like another year or so. If I really work at it, it might fit me. But
yeah, they're all like extra larges, and they need to be bigger sized.
Don't they know the trends here in America? At what point do they go, you know what? Let's up that to 2X. And
they should they should take the smallest Cavalier, whoever that may be. It's probably Deli, maybe?
Yeah.
Dellavedova. And whatever shirt size he is, that should be the size of the shirt they give away.
Oh, but then he's going to leave with like a trunk full of them. Because I could see him doing the scrounge at the end of the game.
Yeah, he's selling them on eBay afterwards.
What did you think about the canceled arm sling giveaway?
At first, I was like, that's kind of creative. Why give it away, all these branded arm slings? And then I thought about turning on the game and seeing 20,000 people with fake arm slings. And I was like, I totally see why they canceled that now. That's really good. You're going to get Kevin Love to re-sign.
Yeah. Maybe we should make him a song like we did for LeBron. I'm going to pretend that doesn't exist still. It was a rough day for Cavs PR.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're
between
the video?
That and the video thing.
I'll let you explain. I'm sorry.
Oh well, yeah. If you didn't see it today, the Cavs during the timeout last night did a skit. Apparently, they say it's based on a popular commercial. I guess I don't watch enough network TV to see this commercial, where these 2 people are kind of dancing, mimicking Dirty Dancing to the song from Dirty Dancing, and then the wife goes towards the husband so he can do like a jump dance move, and he sees that she's wearing Chicago Bulls gear, so he throws her to the ground. And it's a little bit odd and disturbing, and you kind of go, how did this one make it past the first meeting?
It's very odd. First of all, it looks like it's filmed in the back of like a luxury box and not in a real apartment, which probably was. And I watched that commercial because apparently people were defending it for that. I didn't see the commercial before either, but the guy picks his wife up, and the joke is that he's out of shape and she's fat, I guess, because he picks her up and they fall over. But the shot shows both of them falling. Where in the Cavs, it shows him picking her up and throwing her off screen with like a thud when she lands.
Yeah, and then it shows her like blurry, like writhing in pain on the ground.
Yeah, and
like in agony.
She has an ice pack on her, and he's like, "You won't wear bull stuff now anymore." We're definitely supposed to believe it's intentional.
You bitch! Like what the hell?
I'm surprised he didn't just straight up punch her. If you're gonna go that far. Just make a video of a guy beating down his girlfriend
for wearing a Chicago Bulls shirt. Like I say it, I would say like it's, you know, it's tricky on the line and stuff like that. But why for a Cavs timeout 30-second video do you go anywhere near the line?
Come on, man. Nothing gets crowds fired up like domestic violence.
They were probably all ready to go.
They saw the publicity that was going on with the Floyd Mayweather stuff, and they're like, we got to get us some of that.
Well, there's this really popular commercial, and there's these really popular wife beaters out there now. I want to combine the two. And like you said, it's really going to get the crowd going for this second quarter.
If they really wanted to capture the spirit, the guy should have been wearing a headband.
Now, are you one of the conspiracy theorists, like I think I am, that the headband removal was just so his Bosley medical scars could heal?
100%.
I think they're all healed up now. And
not to hate on LeBron, but he strikes me as a guy who, while he's a genius on the basketball court, is dumb enough in real life to get a hair transplant like over the All-Star break.
Right.
Not in the off-season.
Did you see on Twitter someone had pointed out that LeBron's hair pattern now is the Wu-Tang symbol?
No, I did not see that.
I will tweet that to you because it's simply glorious.
I can kind of see it, I guess, if you looked at it from an overhead perspective.
Yep.
But it has to be that because over the summer, everybody made a big deal about his new hairline, and then it looked like maybe it was just some sort of, I don't know, not hair in a can, but it was more than to it than it appeared. But he definitely had the hairline touched up now, and you can see it. And apparently people have said you could see the scars in the back of his head, but I have not been close enough to confirm that.
Yeah, me either. I wish he would just rock the baldness. Like, I don't even want to go Michael Jordan shaved. I want to go, like, the back ring.
You want
like
the Clyde Drexler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, you can, you know, the young bloods can yell all they want. You're still LeBron.
Exactly. And I mean, Ilgauskas was probably the last Cavalier to really rock male pattern baldness.
Yeah.
And then even then he shaved his head.
He just looked weird with a shaved head.
Yeah.
Poor Z.
Poor Z.
Do you think if it was allowed, he would suit up for one game in the finals just to get his ring?
Why not? Yeah, I think he would. I wish the Cavs had enough depth and not settle down with all these old guys that can't contribute. They could have just signed him at the end of the season for the playoff run.
Right. Well, I mean, once the chances of him playing are about the same as Varejao at this point.
Yeah.
Although Varejao keeps posting on his Instagram videos of him working out.
Is he like secretly trying to make the all-time like comeback? Like in the NBA Finals, nobody's going to expect it, and all of a sudden Anderson Varejao checks into the game.
Yeah, like the Bill Murray in Space Jam.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you weren't even
They suspend all the rules of the NBA, and they're like, we know you have to be playoff activated, but it's cool enough, we're going to let it happen.
You know what? You've been working real hard. That mustache is real nice.
We're sick of seeing all your different suits that you wear on the bench.
Now, do you think Kevin Love's going to stick around with the team, or was that like just a quick visit?
I would assume he's going to stick around. I mean, you're going to look bad if you don't with Varejao being there at almost every single game.
I feel like they told Varejao, You don't need to come on every trip, man. Oh, no, it's okay, guys. I'll be there.
Yeah, what else is he going to do?
Yeah. No, I'm all shot up on Mr. Hero. I'm good.
He was on that. Was he on the picture of them on the airplane or not? Remember that classic photo?
Oh, I don't know that. I don't know if he was.
Because I don't think he was going on road trips before the playoffs started, but he is now.
Yeah, because he even says on his Instagram, "Now I'm on the plane."
Mm. Well, Kevin Love, they said he's not going to come to the road games this weekend. I imagine with the fresh surgery like that, he might not unless they make it further. Like if they make it to the finals, you kind of have to come to every game, don't you?
Oh, of course. Yeah, you can't skip that. No, I don't see Andy in this one.
That's the one where Kevin Love got mad because LeBron had his arms around him and people said they hated each other. And that whole 2 months before the season ended when we had to deal with that every day.
And Delly with the thumbs up.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. What is the fans of this podcast opinion on Delly? Do you guys get any feedback on that?
I think I know amongst the staff at Waiting for Next Year, I think it's about a 50-50 split.
Okay.
And I think that's just the fan base throughout.
Yeah.
And again, even the people that are anti-Delly aren't that anti-Delly. They're more kind of like a mom shaking their head at their kids going, "You guys."
I don't know if I agree with that because there's a lot of people on my Facebook friends that are posting and they'll say ridiculous things like, "I'm better than Delly. Delly's the worst point guard in NBA history. John Lucas too is better than Delly. John Lucas himself is better than Delly."
All right, fair enough. Well, then I guess there is more hatred.
It seems like the reactions to him are so hyperbolic that it's insane.
I think he does a fine job, and I think that if he was on a team we were playing, we'd go, "Who is this annoying guy who's always messing with our players?" And I think it's good to have that guy.
I agree. I'm not a huge fan of his, so I don't want this to make it be like I'm so pro Delly, but he probably had two of his best games. Maybe not two, but the first game he played very well and contributed, and last night I thought he played great.
Again, it's to see someone coming in after Kyrie. There aren't many players at all who are going to come in and go, "Oh yeah, I don't miss Kyrie Irving." Like everyone's going to feel really bad coming in after Kyrie Irving. So
yeah, exactly. You're not going to replicate that. When people are saying, "Oh, he's a terrible backup." He's a backup. He's not going to come close. I mean, Kyrie's one of the best scorers in the NBA.
Well, and it's not just like he's not even early bench. You know what I mean? Like he gets a lot of minutes, but he's not even like a sixth man type. Like when we had our real lineup, like a Shumpert or something like that.
Yeah.
Like the NBA is so weird like that. Yeah, he's the backup point guard, but the real point guard plays 42 minutes a night. So the amount of time he's actually out there, some say it's too much. I don't know.
I mean, I will say when people complain about Blatt, he played Delly and James Jones way more than any rational man should. But now he kind of has to. So I guess he was really just preparing for the playoffs all season and we didn't appreciate it.
Well, yeah, which would you like? Would you like Delly, who's been in a bunch, playing in the playoffs, or Delly, who hasn't seen the court except in mop-up time? All of a sudden, you've got to go to him.
That's a very good point. And LeBron always references him, too, when they ask him about, like, early in the playoffs when they said, "Oh, how's Kyrie and Kevin Love and Tristan handling the playoffs?" And he goes, "Yeah, those guys in Delly have never been in play." Like, he's always throwing Delly into the conversation. So we got to keep that in mind when we complain about Delly, that clearly LeBron likes him.
Yeah, he's always on his mind. Probably because he was like, "Man, I got to get Delly to make me another one of those smoothies."
Yeah.
That was really good.
He's the smoothie king of the Cavs.
So, all right, series tied 1-1. They, despite the score, I think the Bulls kind of controlled game one from start to finish. What do you think we're going to see coming in game three? And what do you think the key to the turnaround last night was?
Well, I think the biggest key to the turnaround was the fact that the Cavs switched up their defensive scheme and they decided, let's let Derrick Rose beat us because he hasn't yet, really. They gave him those, and let's not let Pau Gasol have open 15-footers the entire game. And I think the Bulls are the one team where they can actually start Thompson and Mozgov together and be good.
Right.
And I was still against it because, if one of those guys gets in foul trouble, Kendrick Perkins has to play, and that is a scary thought.
No, I agree with that.
I mean, you got to measure their minutes good because James Jones is contributing, and he played great last night, but I don't want to see what happens if Perkins is out there for 25 minutes a game.
Yeah. He only is allowed to get 6 fouls, and he'll use them in whatever amount of time he needs.
Yeah, he paces them, doesn't he?
Coach, just give me an estimation on minutes tonight. I want to know. Yeah, I'm glad they figured out, they watched 5 minutes of tape at least and saw, okay, Gasol's going to hit those shots from the elbow every single time. Maybe we shouldn't leave him alone for those.
Yeah.
I'm glad they switched it up on that. What do you give credence to the theory about Derrick Rose on 1 day rest?
I mean, it's hard not to at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree.
You just look at the raw numbers, and I know I was watching ESPN today, and Mike Wilbon was defending him, saying it's all teams adjusting, but really think about how many other players that are great that have been in the playoffs playing off 1 game rest. Like, really, teams aren't that good that they can just adjust for a guy of his talent level. There has to be something more going on because it's not like a chess back and forth like, oh, we adjusted. Oh, he figured it out. Oh, we'll adjust again. Oh, he figured it out. It's not that simple, and it can't be in that alternating pattern.
Right, because he's also allowed to adjust for adjustments.
Exactly. And he's still playing the game like, okay, the first quarter, that'd be fine if his numbers went up or he played better, but he gets worse over the games, which I think lends even more credence to the theory that, 1 game is not enough for him.
I am sure there are Chicago fans who are saying have him sit out Friday to be ready for Sunday.
Oh, Chicago fans, based on just what I know from people I talk to and my little bit of listening to, because I listened to a lot of game 1 and game 2 on the radio because I had stuff I had to do, and then I watched the whole game later and then call in and stuff. And people are more wary about Derrick Rose and the Bulls fan base than they are confident that the Bulls can beat the Cavs.
Huh.
Overall, I think people are just convinced that something catastrophic is going to happen and he's going to blow out one or both of his knees like he's a ticking time bomb.
Well, I could see why. Because he kind of has been, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen again.
No, but I do think there is something to this whole 1 day on, 1 day off. And honestly, I don't think he can get away with it because from everything I read that Thibodeau and the Bulls management are completely at odds, and he's incredibly loyal to his players based on the fact of how much he's playing Noah, even though he's done basically nothing in the last 2 games.
Right.
That there's no way he would sit out Rose for some sort of advantage. Plus, then you're down 2-1, and LeBron James is like the great white shark of the NBA, man. He can smell blood.
Oh, yeah. Well, I am a big fan of the statistic that was it the last 4 series that LeBron has played against the Bulls, both in Miami and Cleveland, that the Bulls won game 1 and then the Cavs won out?
I think it's the last 3 because when they played in Cleveland, he swept them.
Yeah, there you go.
With by the way, a team that talent-wise I still think is worse than the team they have now, even with Love out.
Oh, I agree. I said back then when we first got Kyrie Irving that if you would have put Kyrie Irving on any of those teams, they would have been a championship caliber team. Just the fact of having a point guard like Kyrie.
I mean, they were a championship contender with Mo Gotti running the show. And as much as I love Mo Williams, Kyrie does everything that he does, but better by a lot.
I want to give you some good plugs here because I really enjoy listening to the C4 podcast, which is your Cavs podcast.
Thank
you. People can find it. How? What's the easiest way?
www.chrisclem.net/podcast.
Now, even if you've just found out about this podcast tonight, even if you're not particularly interested in what was going on in past weeks, it is worth listening to at least the opening 5 minutes of every episode for the collection of horrible Cavs songs that you've compiled over the years. And the podcast is worth listening to beyond that, of course, but the biggest thing that I noticed in all of those terrible songs is how much at the time we didn't understand why LeBron would ever want to leave.
Oh, yeah.
But then you listen to the list of players that are in a lot of the songs. The fact that a guy try to fit Zerbiak into a song.
Well, you know who that was on yesterday's episode or today's episode? That was Joe Smith, who played for the Cavs, rapping about his teammates. So Iman Shumpert has been beat to the punch on making a Cavs playoff song by 6 years. And I don't want to hate on Iman Shumpert because he's been great the last 2 games, but I think Joe Smith flows better than him.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hearing just those lists of names.
What you said about Zerbiak, I love that Joe Smith's plug for him isn't his shooting ability, it's that he can't be guarded in the post.
Yeah, he praises Sasha Pavlovich for his shooting ability. Oh, I wish I had the transcript of that right now because you're right. It's there was my favorite Cavs song is the super old "Come On Cavs" song, which is like the disco funk song almost.
Oh,
I'm sure you've
Everybody should know that one. It's like
yeah. I want to say I have this theory that they said, okay, you want a song about the Cavs? All right. What do they do? They play basketball? Okay. Well, what's basketball? And so they handed him a list of basketball terms. Like, here, this is some stuff that happens in basketball.
That's true. One of the lines is, with your fast break action.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, I'll incorporate these terms into the song. That'll be more about basketball.
on the Cavs website, it actually has the history of how that song came about. Oh. Like an oral history, like it's some important thing that they had to go interview the people who were involved.
It turns out that they were given $70 and one day.
It's very close. It's very boring. He's just like, oh, we left Cleveland Arena and we're like, we should record a song. We walked down the street to the studio and this is what we came up with.
After someone gave us a list of terms. Oh, sweep the boards? Put sweep the boards in there.
Well, that's actually like a staple of Cavs songs. I could call myself an expert on Cavs songs.
I would call you an expert as well.
They all seem to love mentioning fast breaks for some reason.
I guess the Cavs are always going to be a young athletic team.
I guess so. I imagine, what would these songwriters do with the 1980s Showtime Lakers teams? It would just be fast break 500 times in a row to a beat.
My favorite instrument in that song is the thing that goes...
Oh, yeah, that's like in the intro. What's your least favorite? Because I have a least favorite, even though I kind of like it. It's Hardworking Town, Hardworking Team by Michael Stanley.
Oh, yeah, with the whiny guitar.
Oh, yeah. Get behind the orange and blue with all your mights. Cavs basketball, tonight's the night.
I definitely enjoy the This Is Cleveland one that you use for your outro.
Yeah, that's my personal, maybe not favorite because the original one's the best, but that's the one from my memories of watching those terrible early 2000 Cavs teams on WUAB and Fox Sports. They would play that song every game.
I think my least favorite is the Go Cavs Go one.
That's objectively the worst.
Yeah, that's...
of the official songs they've paid for.
The Cavs hit the floor.
Fans start to roar. We got a victory in sight.
Yeah, that's the worst one. Cavs!
Go, Cavs, go!
I'm not going to include or encourage anyone to listen to the one that you sang. But I will say this, you were bringing it.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. It was pretty good for making it in like the same amount of time as the original Cavs song.
Did you incorporate Zerbiak into that one too?
Yeah. Wally Zerbiak fights for the ball. Every night he gives his all. A lot of people say that the boy's insane, but he knocks him down from the 3-point range.
Oh, he always gives his all. That's a total white guy compliment too.
Yeah, because it was that 2018 where the lineup was Delonte West, Zerbiak, LeBron, Ben Wallace, and Ilgauskas. Because then the next year they got Mo Williams and Delonte moved to the 2.
I still miss Delonte West.
Oh, man, I think everybody misses Delonte West, just for the fact that he was an urban legend before he got to the Cavs with his Boston Celtics advertisements.
Yeah, with the sock basketball.
Yeah, he's like, why a hanger? If anybody's listening that doesn't know these commercials, I haven't seen them, you owe it to yourself to go on YouTube right now and look them up.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing. Also, from that time, in his Cavs days, he was given a camera by the Jim Rome show and told to record his goings-on. And so my favorite part of that is forcing a rookie J.J. Hickson to get him Krispy Kreme donuts that were fresh, which I believe the only place that had them was in West Akron.
Oh, yeah. Maple Street.
That is the only place to get fresh Krispy Kreme donuts, and I think he forced J.J. Hickson to do it.
Yeah, I think they make all of them for the gas stations and even the other Krispy Kreme. I think there might be 2 in the entire Northeast Ohio area.
So, yeah, he's just, better have my donuts.
I don't blame him, because those Krispy Kreme donuts, when they're fresh, are about the best thing ever.
It's tough to beat.
Yeah.
It's tough to
Especially
beat. Not exactly
off the conveyor belt.
Yep. When the sign's on that says they're hot, there you go.
You get a free sample when you go in there. You get a free donut. You can't beat that.
That's because they know you'll be hooked as soon as you...
That's true. It's like
as soon as you get that bite.
The old drug dealer thing. Give them a little crack, and next thing you know, they'll be coming back for more.
First one's free. So we've talked a lot of Cavs. I think. Do you think we're confident in the series? Do you think we're going to win the series based on last night's performance? Or is it too soon to tell?
I go back and forth, mostly in my mind, arguing with myself whether the Cavs are going to blow them out and win in 5, or this was just a fluke and they're in for a struggle and they're going to lose in 6. I don't know. It's such a non-answer. It's a cop-out. I want to say I think they're going to win. I guess that's my stance.
I agree with that. I don't know if it's all going to be blowouts. It was nice, though, after the Boston game that didn't produce a blowout, to get a blowout playoff game. I had forgotten what those were like.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird, all these feelings rushing back from earlier playoff days.
Yeah, of a week, 2 weeks ago.
Well, not even that. I meant...
the old LeBron teams.
From the old LeBron teams. I remember how much fun it was.
I forget, looking back, like in 2009, when they lost to the Orlando Magic, that they had swept their previous 2 series up into that. And now I remember what a stunner it was that the Magic beat them, that they shot unbelievably that whole series. And Mike Brown made some terrible decisions. But that's...
Well, even game 2 that we won was won on LeBron's last minute.
Oh, yeah, I totally...
Or last second 3.
I remember I was doing a comedy show that night, and I was sitting at the bar watching the game, and I was so loud when he hit that shot, screaming, that it interrupted the entire show. And the headliner was pissed.
I don't care what you're involved in. I'm doing a show right now.
But it was like, this is the greatest shot in the history of basketball.
The only story I have about that series is I don't remember what the order went. There were 2 in Cleveland. It was tied 1-1. I know I went to visit some friends in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Just by chance happened to be for the game 6. I didn't go or anything, but the hotel that I stayed in was like right down there. And so the night before the game, I was out with some friends. We were going to go find a place to go drink or something like that. And we're walking along, and I remember that they had been saying this feel-good story about, Hidu Turkoglu.
Oh, yeah.
About, his wife just had a baby, so that's why he looks so tired, because he hasn't gotten much sleep because of his wife had a baby. We're walking along in this bar district in downtown Orlando, and who do I see walk out of a bar waiting for a cab? Hidu Turkoglu at like 1 a.m. Like, you're not with your wife and kid, you son of a bitch.
I don't think that's a really funny story that he's getting sympathy for something he's not doing. But he, honestly, better than Dwight Howard, he was the best player on their team that year. Like, he won 3 of those games in that series.
Oh, I remember hating his guts, which means he was their best player.
I remember I was stunned when he did not make the All-Star team that year, but Rashard Lewis and Jameer Nelson did, and I was like, am I missing something? Because this is the guy that they give the ball to every time it gets close.
Right. Yeah, I remember watching at a bar in Orlando. I believe I was wearing a Cavs jersey at that point.
Yeah.
Because, what are Orlando fans going to do to you? Like, Chicago, I can see some deep-rooted fandom.
I will say I am slightly afraid. I park on the street, and I have a Cavs license plate holder and a giant Cavs sticker on the side of my car, like over the window. I half expect if the Cavs win this series in 5 that it's going to end up broken. Like, there's going to be a rock in my window.
Can you, call your insurance company in advance?
Actually, that's a good idea. I might do that after we get down here.
So, Cavs, we'll see what happens. I agree that I think if they play like they did last night, absolutely, they're going to roll over them. But
I think it's going to be like 2007. I think they're going to win this series. I think they're going to play even better against the Hawks or the Wizards and win that, and then they're going to get swept in the finals.
Fair enough. Maybe
not swept. They're better than the 07 Cavs.
They are. They have more than one good player. So, were you? Did you get any chance to look at any of the new Browns prospects? Switching gears slightly.
Yeah, I did. I did not watch the first round because I was watching an Avengers double feature instead.
Fair enough.
Because I think that every draft, the entire draft, should be like 2 hours long. That's a watchable time, and I can't support the NFL dragging it out like they have. But I immediately looked up what they got because people were saying that the Browns drafted Nicki Minaj, and then I saw Shelton in his hair, and I was like, okay, I get it.
I had not seen the Nicki Minaj comments.
People were saying, oh, the Browns drafted a fat Nicki Minaj, and I was like, what? And sure enough, it looks like Nicki Minaj if she was a larger man.
Well, there you go. Well, after the last few years of Browns drafts, I am fine with a boring Browns draft.
Oh, I would agree with that 100%.
Excitement has not worked out well for us draft-wise.
I don't need another 22nd first-round quarterback pick that's a reach.
I still think back to Brandon Weeden, and I go, very similar to why would you put a domestic violence skit on your Jumbotron? Because it's so close to the line. Why would you ever draft an old quarterback who wasn't the best quarterback ever? There's no reason to even go near.
Chris Weinke wasn't a first-round pick. That was his closest NFL comparison, but he was worse. My only memory of Brandon Weeden is him being trapped under the American flag.
It's just an amazing pocket presence. He was unable to elude a 100-yard flag.
Exactly. And not only was he old, but he wasn't mature either. He acted like a baby whenever things went wrong, like his body language. It's like, great. They drafted the oldest player in the draft who also has maturity issues. Wonderful.
Who also tried another sport, got mad, and quit it.
Exactly.
To play this sport.
I forgot about that. He was a pitcher, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's already been a failure once, but he might do it this time.
Yeah, the track record of those guys in the NFL is pretty bad because there's already been a couple of them. Like Chris Weinke was like that, and there's somebody big I'm forgetting who did both and then became a quarterback full time.
Was it Drew something? Was it like Drew Stanton or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, none of those guys. We don't remember their names for a reason.
Right. Well, being in the middle is obscurity, but you get to the Ryan Leaf level of bad.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's almost a hack draft bust reference at this point.
That's true.
Like, oh, it's not Ryan Leaf, huh? But
who's the Achilles Smith is my go-to.
That's a good one. I like that. That also ties in with the 99 Browns coming back and that horrible Sports Illustrated cover with him and Tim Couch and Big Dawg. That's what I see in my mind whenever I think about whenever the Browns lose a game. It's just that image is burned in there.
Now let's see. I'm going to make you make some controversial statements. A couple of people and I were discussing that we wish there would have been a draft day deal to trade some of the Browns, quote, superfans to some other team because we're just tired of them. You've got your Pumpkinhead guy and your the Macho Man Randy Savage guy, who I like okay, and there's the Bone Lady and all that.
Bone Lady, yeah.
Do you think it's time to move on from the superfans?
And also the guy who dresses like Captain America, but he's all orange and brown.
Right.
Yeah, they're becoming like a gimmick in themselves. They're trying to get themselves attention, and it's like, come on now. Nobody needs to know who the Bone Lady is. Right.
And I soured on it first when the guy who was Charlie's Fries became just Dog Pound Mike. And he went from having this fry costume to, I'm just going to put on a hard hat and put some stickers on it. Or a bone hat and put some stickers on it.
He changed characters midway through his career.
Yeah.
It's hard to follow.
It's like, sorry, you hook your wagon to Charlie Fry, you got to ride that.
That's true.
You got to ride that out to Oakland? Sorry, you're on a new team now. You got traded.
I lost all interest in the Browns Superfans when it was twofold. My grade school had this like assembly thing and they had Slider come in and it was like this big deal. And then the next year they didn't have Slider come in. They had Big Dawg come in.
What a treat for these elementary school children.
Who did nothing but stand there in his stupid dog mask. Nobody cares what you have to say. You're famous for being a big, huge guy in a dog mask that everybody notices.
The only quote I know of that you've ever said is, woof, 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 woof.
And that was my Browns superfan disgust was cemented when later on, I think it was Channel 8 did a sweeps month series of stuff with Big Dawg trying to lose weight. Like he had bariatric surgery and he was trying to make him like Little Dog. It was something really, I was like, this is the fact that it's not that they made it. That's fine. Go ahead and make it. The fact is that they made it knowing it would get good ratings because people are that obsessed with the Browns that they want to know about some guy who's just known for being a freak show at the game, how his life is going.
Hey, what's he up to lately? And, you know, I'll give Big Dawg a little bit of credit because, like, he testified in front of Congress when the Browns left. But then, like, somehow this Dog Pound Mike guy got a meeting with Randy Lerner.
Oh, God. Well,
he's like, hey, I went to Dick's Sporting Goods and I spent $14. I deserve an audience.
Well, hey, I mean, I guess that's better than Haslam getting draft tips from homeless people.
That is true. That I guess the homeless guys wanted us to go line this year. So
He's got
the homeless community.
He's got a room. He just goes to a homeless shelter, and
it's like that Fox News panel, but it's all homeless guys that they brought in. And
what do you guys think about the line this year?
What do you think about this shade of orange? Does it reflect your passion?
It's darker, right? That's the only way that you could accept some of the Browns' decisions over the last 15 years is to just assume it's all homeless people making all the decisions.
They just revealed, okay, guys, here's what we've been doing. Here's our room full of homeless people. That's why. And then we'd all go, I do that at work sometimes where I'll be like, you know what? I know you just made a stupid mistake, but we now know what the mistake was. If we couldn't have traced it to that, but with the Browns, there's nothing like that. There is no secret room of homeless people that we can blame everything on.
That's true.
We've switched every position in the entire organization.
Maybe it's just this is talk about hacky references. Maybe there really is a curse.
Skeptics will disagree, but I don't know.
I mean, because at least the Indians and the Cavs, they haven't won a championship in a long time, but they've been relevant. Like, the Cavs are the most relevant NBA team in the world right now, and the Indians have been in the playoffs, but the Browns have been completely inept. Even the one year they went to the playoffs, they really shouldn't have.
Right. Yeah, I think Terry Pluto wrote a book about it, how it was the outcry of the Browns leaving was so bad that they hastily put it all together, and we've just never caught up from that hasty beginning.
Yeah, false start. That's the name of the book. And the worst part about it is they still had plenty of time to get everything together, but the NFL was just like, it's no big deal. And they dragged their feet in approving like all the decision making and stuff.
And here we are to this day.
Yep.
Now I will say that I think a lot of kind of angry, typical cynic Browns fans were a little bit mad that the jerseys weren't like super horrible, like arcade style Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like Oregon style.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, like, as far as being a Browns fan go, I'm still like the most optimistic person in the world, and I'm probably an apologist for them, totally. But still, there's this whole group of super cynical people who I think are mad that they're not terrible.
Yeah, I didn't like them at first, and I still don't like the shadow on the numbers, but they definitely, seeing people wearing them and stuff, I have grown to think they're actually pretty good.
Yeah, the only detail I don't particularly like is the word Browns on the pants.
Yeah.
That's a little odd, but seeing actual players in them, they look pretty good. So
yeah, that totally changed my mind. When I saw it on paper, I was like, those things are hideous. And then when I saw them on a human being, I was like, all right, those are actually pretty good, and they're actually unique without being terrible, like you said. That's unique in a way that's still kind of traditional, at least the jersey, not the pants.
Right.
And it doesn't look like it's some sort of Nike test research project.
That they got the font from an alien race. And yeah. Well, I think I have kept you long enough, so I really appreciate you coming on.
Oh, I'm happy to be on. It's always a fun time.
You should let me know if you're coming back to do comedy in Ohio.
All right, I will. I will be around for some stuff at the end of May.
All right. You can find the C4 podcast at, is it C4 Pod?
Yeah, it's at C4 Pod on Twitter. It's mostly just Cavs fan retweets and me posting. I'm going to try to put more content on there, but it'll at least give you all the relevant links to listen to the show.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and go Cavs.
Go Cavs. Long live Delhi. Praise be to Mozgov. All in.
All righty. Good night, everybody. This has been the waitingfornextyear.com podcast.
Waiting for next year. Waiting for next year.